Okay, I'm a couple years late to the table here, but I really feel like somebody's got to talk about. I mean, everyone's talked about Spider-Man PS4, and now everyone's talked about its sequel and how it's almost amazing or sub-spectacular or any number of qualified Spider-Man adjectives. But I really feel like one scene has sort of fell through the cracks of time when people look back at Spider-Man PS4. I am of course talking about Peter and Otto's last conversation in the game. Maybe it's overshadowed because the very next scene is the death of Aunt May, but I really feel like not enough people talk about how good this last scene is in exploring and resolving our hero and villain. Okay, context for the three people who haven't played this game. Otto was Peter's mentor, and as these things always go, his quasi-father figure, right up until Otto was revealed to have been orchestrating the entire plot of the game, all in an attempt to ruin Norman Osborn. To that end, Otto has released a poison across the city to which he holds the only antidote. Not only that, but Otto is slowly losing control of his body. He has a disease that will make him completely paralyzed, aside from his brand new and dangerous arms. So, with that out of the way, we can see that the stakes are high. Peter's got both the city and his family to worry about, and Otto has his vengeance and his own body at play. Now, it's a Spider-Man story, so we know Peter's gonna win this one, but the question of any good Spider-Man story is at what cost? By the end of the battle, Peter has definitively won. It'll likely hurt like hell, but he's won. He could just walk away, but he's still connected to Otto, who pleads. And now we have the real meat of this scene. Otto's desperation slowly revealing his true colors. What Otto absolutely needs in this scene is pity from Peter. If he's gonna avoid total paralyzation, he needs his arms and can't do that alone. And the genius of this scene is how even in this moment, when both Peter and the audience have seen the extent of Otto's pride and villainy, he's still able to hook us in, if only for a moment. Otto is really cleverly able to play on our goodwill for him. How important he seemed, how relatable his motivations are, how much of a turd Norman really is. But what really gets me is how Otto messes up. With just 2 moments, Otto burns away any goodwill he had remaining because he just can't help who he is. In the first, he shows his ego to Peter.
Men like us have a duty, a responsibility, to use our talents in the service of others. Even if they don't appreciate it. We have to do what's best for those beneath us, whether they understand it or not. No, you're wrong!
He's saying all the right things about being virtuous in the face of dislike, classic Spider-Man conundrum, but he takes it one step too far and places himself on a pedestal on top of that virtuosity. And then, the real kicker. You can see him pivoting tactics, making the choice to play damsel rather than hero.
Yes, of course. You're right, Peter. Oh, I see that now. The neural interface affected my mind. If they put me away, they'll take my arms. I'll be trapped in this useless body. Please, Peter. That wasn't me. You said you'd never abandon me. You promised. Remember?
Peter gets more and more hooked right up until...
And of course, you rest easy, knowing your secret is safe with me.
And there it is again. He just can't help himself. He sees one more assurance to retain Peter's loyalty, and that's what seals his fate. After all, can't be both a damsel and a blackmailer. So, at the end of the scene, Spider-Man has won, but at what cost? He and Otto are done. Yes, his secret identity is on the line, but much more importantly, any good graces left between these two is over. Peter walks away, not triumphant, but hurt. And now, while I like to stay positive on here, I think this highlights why the sequel's ending doesn't hit quite as hard as the first. Now, I loved Spider-Man 2, but I definitely think the two scenes are worth comparing. Because in the broad strokes, these are two very similar situations. Both corrupted supervillains with a connection to Peter who, if we take away what makes him super, will end up in a vegetative state. But what I find lacking in Harry's story is that final twist of the knife. Now, granted, Harry and Otto are very different characters who have very different flaws, but there was just that last moment missing from Harry's story that was absolutely nailed with Otto. Anyway, regardless of the sequel, I will forever love that final scene from the first game. It just absolutely nails Otto's character in a way that is not only fitting, but irresistibly malicious and absolutely enthralling. I really hope the third game gives us another perfect scene like this one.